Part 3. You will hear two architecture students called Ben and Chloe discussing their recent summer work placements and their upcoming course modules. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hi Chloe, how was your summer? Did you manage to get that placement at the design studio you wanted?
Hi Ben. Yes, I did. I spent 6 weeks at Studio Nova. It was actually quite intense.
I bet. I ended up at a massive commercial firm right in the city centre. To be honest, it wasn't quite what I expected.
Why? Did they just make you do administrative chores and fetch coffee all day?
Not exactly. But because the firm is so huge, they have very strict departments. I really wanted to see how they develop the initial creative concepts, but they stuck me in the technical department for the entire month. I spent weeks just correcting measurements on digital blueprints. It was highly repetitive and a bit frustrating.
That's a shame. My experience was the complete opposite. Because Studio Nova is so small, there are only 5 architects. I had to do a bit of everything. One day I was 3D modelling. The next, I was visiting a construction site.
That sounds much better. Did you get to work on any specific projects?
Yes, the main one was a renovation of an old Victorian library. It was fascinating but incredibly difficult.
Difficult because the structural integrity was compromised.
No, the building itself was completely solid. The issue was that it's a listed building with historical protection status, which meant we couldn't alter the outside brickwork at all. We had to figure out how to modernise the internal insulation without touching the facade. It took weeks just to get the permits approved by the local council.
I can imagine. The red tape can be a nightmare. At my firm, we were working on a new shopping complex. It was marketed heavily as a green building project.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Sustainable architecture is huge right now.
That's what I thought. But honestly, I got the distinct impression it was mostly a marketing gimmick. They put a few solar panels on the roof and a living plant wall in the lobby, but the main materials were still traditional concrete and steel, which have a massive carbon footprint. It really felt like they were just ticking boxes to look eco-friendly to the public rather than actually caring about the environment.
I think that happens a lot in corporate projects. My boss was very strict about sustainability. Did you make any massive mistakes during your time there? I heard you had a disaster in your second week.
Oh no, word travels fast. Yeah, I was asked to use the laser cutter to make a scale model of the shopping centre for a client meeting. I input the wrong ratio into the software settings. I ended up cutting the pieces twice as big as they should have been and wasted about £200 worth of premium acrylic plastic.
Ouch! Did your supervisor shout at you?
No, he was actually really understanding. He said everyone messes up the machines once, but I was still mortified.
Well, I didn't break any expensive equipment, but I did struggle during a client meeting. I was taking the minutes and the client kept changing his mind about the kitchen layout. I misinterpreted what he wanted and wrote it down completely wrong. The senior architects actually started drafting entirely the wrong layout based on my notes. Luckily, they realised before it went too far.
I completely agree. Dealing with the people who hire you is definitely the toughest part of the job. You certainly can't learn that sitting in a university lecture hall.
Exactly.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
Speaking of lectures, have you looked at the module options for next semester? We need to submit our choices online by Friday.
I've had a quick look. I'm definitely picking History of Modernism.
Really? I heard that one is incredibly heavy on the reading, and you have to produce 3 massive assignments.
I know it demands a lot of writing, but the professor, Dr. Aris, is brilliant. Plus, I think we need a strong theoretical background if we want to be good designers.
I suppose. I'm leaning more towards advanced structural engineering.
Rather you than me. That's basically just crunching numbers, isn't it?
It is. It relies heavily on complex physics and load-bearing formulas, but I feel like my technical knowledge is a bit weak. After my placement, I realised that I can draw pretty shapes, but I don't really know how to make them stand up safely. It's highly practical.
That makes sense. What about the elective? I was thinking about urban landscape design.
I actually did that one last year. It's absolutely fantastic.
Is it?
Yes. It's not just about planting trees in parks. The best part was definitely the field trips. We actually left the campus and spent 2 days looking at the redevelopment of the city waterfront.
That settles it then. I learn best when I'm out and about. I'll take that. And there's one more compulsory module for everyone. Professional practice and law.
That sounds incredibly dry. Contracts, building regulations, insurance policies.
It does sound boring, but my boss at the studio said it's without a doubt the most useful module on the whole degree. She said that in the real world, if you don't understand the legal boundaries of what you are building, you can easily get sued. It's basically your main defense against ending up in court.
That's a cheerful thought, but you're right, we can't avoid it.
So, shall we meet up later to fill in the forms?
Sure, let's go to the library after lunch.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 3.